Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning. It is kind of early, but I actually got up a little later than usual. But I wanted to check in with you first thing this morning because I already got up and got my turkey in the oven. Whether you're doing a turkey or a chicken or whatever, whatever your pleasure, I hope that you're up and ready to get that started. I have a 12 and a half pound turkey, so I cook it at 325 degrees for about 4 to 4.5 hours for it to get done. It's got one of those little pop up thingies on there, so at least that will kind of cover my bases too to make sure that I actually cook it long enough in case I get distracted or whatever. But as you see, it's down here in the oven. The turkey and my super gigantic sweet potatoes is about the size of my head. Almost the size of my head. Um, I use these pans that I got from Dollar Tree for $1.25. They are a little more flimsy, but they'll do the job. They came two in the pack for $1.25. I figure, well, hey, I don't have a large pan anymore because I have been just cooking for one for so long that when you find out that you're going to have guests coming over, you got to do something really quick. So I used one of those in the oven, but I put a cookie sheet up under the bottom to give that added support because we don't want the turkey falling out on the floor, right? And to cover that lovely pan, Reynolds wrap that I also got from the Dollar Tree at that same wonderful price. That's the nice thing about Dollar Tree. You know what your price is going to be. You know, there's other kinds of dollar stores where the price may be $1 and up. Dollar Tree did raise their price from $1 to $1.25, but it's still very reasonable, and you know that everything you find in there is going to be that price. So you just have to be the wise consumer and get what you really need and not like overbuy stuff or not get things that are not going to be as strong to work with. But I've got the sweet potato covered with some foil too. Poked my holes. I gave it a bath like the turkey. But one thing before putting that turkey in there, had to make sure took off the little plastic thingy that holds the legs and everything together, the thing that bundles it all together, which that's like the hardest thing to get out of a turkey. I don't know why, but it's really hard. But I did take that off, and I also had to get that lovely bag of goodies out of the turkey, which they didn't all come in the bag. The giblets and gizzards came in the bag. The turkey heart was just kind of in there. So I took that too. And the neck, that long neck bone, I took that out, put that in a plastic bag, set it aside. You know, I might use it later when I'm making my gravy for the turkey, or I could actually save it. I'll probably use the gizzards and livers in making the gravy and the dressing. And the turkey neck bone is great for use for making a broth for if you're going to make some soup. So we'll see how that turns out later. But right now I'm just focusing on making sure the bird is done because that's going to be for the long haul. When the bird gets done, fantastic. When the sweet potatoes get done, that's fantastic because the sweet potatoes are for everybody else. My kidneys aren't very happy with the sweet potatoes, eating that sort of stuff, which I've talked about in some other videos. So what I do is I like to exchange stuff. Since I won't be having the sweet potatoes, I will be having butternut squash. And I will show how to prepare that and get that in the oven. But it's only going to take about an hour for the butternut squash to get done, really. But I wanted delicata squash, but of course, because I wanted it, it was not found in the stores. Just like the cranberry. I wanted to do some homemade cranberry sauce, you know, because fresh is always better. And I wanted to treat myself, not cheat myself, you know what I mean? But there was no fresh cranberries in the store when I went either. So we're going to skip the cranberries. I'm going to have the delicata squash. Well, I'm not going to have delicata squash. I'm going to have butternut squash while everyone else has the sweet potatoes. It's a close enough substitution where my palate is satisfied, so that way I'm not saying, boy, I'm really missing out on this or that or whatever. And then we got corn on the cob. I've got Brussels sprouts, which is okay to eat Brussels sprouts, but I can't overeat something like that because there's a lot of phosphorus in that. And I start having problems if I have too much phosphorus. I start like breaking out and I'm in pain and all kinds of weird stuff, which this whole CKD journey has been unique for me. I'm learning a lot about food. I'm learning a lot more about my body, not only what's good for my body, but what I really should be eating in the first place. So that's what I'm trying to do, stay along with all that. But I wanted to check with you real quick. I am going to work on getting some other stuff out, trying to make these little clips of videos rather than overwhelming people, because I know I can get to that point where I'm talking 40 minutes thinking I'm on for 2 minutes. We all know that. So let's keep this short. Right now, got my French press, and I am going to have this cinnamon turtle coffee with no sugar. Right, because the cinnamon is actually a good thing for the kidneys. Just like I talk about garlic and I talk about lemons and all of that, cinnamon is actually a good thing for the body. It is a good thing for the body. But I just sprinkle it in. I put my fresh coffee grounds in the press, and I do a couple of shakes of cinnamon on top of that. Boil my water on the stove in my old school coffee pot. Yes, this is what I use. And when the water gets hot, I transfer that into the press, and then I put the top on, let it set for a while, then I press that button down, and then I pour it off and I can drink and enjoy that. So I think I'm going to have that right now with some yellow grits, which are better for the kidneys somehow, and some egg yolks. No, not egg yolks, egg whites. Yellow grits and egg whites. So I'll separate my eggs and I'll use the egg whites to scramble some eggs. I put a dash or two of turmeric in it, which helps with my knees and, inflammation. And I haven't been having as much trouble getting in and out of bed, which is just fantastic for me. But I'm going to have that, and I will join you again a little bit later.